She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, today is Money Monday, and for today, we decided that we wanted to add something that is unique, that is different, that you normally would not find, especially from a show like this, or especially from a woman who is homeless, homeless at 21, who was a millionaire by 23, that today gives 100% of the profits and any salary that would ever come to me straight to taking care of the poor, the widow, the sick, and the trafficked. Now, you've heard me talk a lot about that, but you haven't heard me talk about it from a business perspective. You see, there's something that happened to my husband and my life when we began to point our money towards things that had purpose. You see, for the first 10 years of making money, the main thing that we did was we just bought a bunch of junk for ourselves, and we ended up with almost $1 million more in debt. We were more miserable. We were more stressed out. We fought more, and life was truly not better. As much as we had bought into the lie that if we're good with God, then we're going to prosper. And if we prosper, then we have lots of stuff and we just store up all these crazy treasures. And these crazy treasures did nothing besides destroy us from the inside out. Well, today on Money Monday, we have got something that is far more important than money, and that is the purpose for it. I have a guest joining me today that also shares the same kind of purpose, that has dedicated his entire life to adding purpose to not only his life, but the lives of those that are around him and for the lives of children. I can't wait for you to meet Cory Nichols as you hear his story and what it is that he, as well as another one of our partners, are doing together to make the world a better place. Because something powerful that happens when you add purpose to money. You become unstoppable. So help me welcome Cory Nichols to the Dani Johnson Show. So Cory, you were a kid that had been abused. Tell us a little bit about that kind of abuse, the kind of abuse that we're talking about here.
So when I was 16 years old, my parents went through a difficult divorce. I came from a great, loving family that loved me, believed in me, nurtured me. But tragically, they went through a divorce. And the very week that my dad moved out of our home, I was in a vulnerable state. Our family was in a vulnerable state. And we had a friend of our family's ended up spending the night, and I woke up to him sexually molesting me. And so sometimes when you're wanting help, people can take advantage of that vulnerable situation that you're in. And sadly, for many years of my life, I thought I was the only hurting person. Yes. I know that's not true, but when you're in your own painful set of circumstances, it's hard to see a world in need of help. And so God had to take me through my own journey of bringing me to a place of wholeness to where He restored me so I could be a restorer of others.
I really like that. It's like a very true thing. Now, first of all, I'm so sorry that that happened. That happened to me several times growing up. Yes, by schoolmates. And then, of course, I was molested from the time I was 3. First was by a man, just picked me up out of the alley and brought me into his apartment. And then my cousin when I was 7. And then my who I thought was my father. Turned out he was not my father. But when I was about 13 years old, he molested me from the time I was 12, 13 till I was 16. I ended up moving out of the house because of it. So I understand that kind of confusion.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, but that kind of confusion that hits our soul when that has happened. Now, here today, you are using your life to benefit the life of kids specifically. And so you're involved in the sex trade. What drove you into the sex trade?
So it actually started back when I was in 5th grade. I was 10 years old. I was sitting in class and we were learning about slavery in America, how someone was bought and sold based off the color of their skin when they're made in the image of God. They were treated as less than animals. And something rose up on the inside of me that's not okay. I feel like I have a justice heart that I want to help defend others. So that seed was planted when I was really young. Well, I went through my abuse situation. And then I also went on to college, graduated with a degree in architecture, landscape architecture. and went and worked for a successful firm for many years after college. And the 2008 economy collapse happened. And I ended up losing everything. I lost my job. I couldn't find work coast to coast. I ended up losing my house. I remember the day putting all of my furniture out on my driveway, basically had to give it away, moved home to my dad and stepmom's house in their basement after 11 years living on my own, living in their basement for 2 years without a vehicle. Wow. And I was in this hopeless state. And in that moment, I felt deep on the inside, God spoke to me and said, I want you to set captives free. I was like, what does that even mean? I'm broke. I have no money. What could I possibly do to help people? And I felt like he said, I don't need anything from you. I want you. I own everything. And I can put resource in your hands. I'm looking for someone who's available and willing and that carries my heart of compassion for broken, hurting people. And you see, I was a judgmental person. I was college educated. I had lots of money and had nice things. And I judged people that were in difficult financial situations. So instead of helping them, I looked at them through a critical lens and I couldn't help people. So I went through my own disastrous situation that God brought me to a place of humility. Yep. And it was through that God began to lift my life out of that. So I was like, what does it mean to set captives free? I started this free blog on blogger.com. You talk about doing things inexpensively, free. Yes. And it was so generic, but within 2 months of me launching it, the largest Christian newspaper company in the country contacted me and said, we found your blog. We love how you write. We think the message you're sharing needs to be told. Wow. And that started a published writing career for me. Okay, so let's just back up here. Okay, so here today we're talking about money. And you're like, well, why is this guy talking about God? Hello, friend, because God is involved with every transaction it is that you make. And there's something that is so powerful when you begin to add purpose to money. And see, I told you in the very beginning of the segment that Hans and I spent so many years just making money for ourselves. And yes, we were thinking, oh, we're going to leave a legacy and an inheritance for our kids. But even that was so empty. There really was no purpose even to that. And we found ourselves getting drawn up, just like you were saying, right? In the house and the cars and the clothes and woo, I'm college educated, which Hans and I were not. However, there's something so powerful when you add purpose to your work life that then begins to do something different for you on the inside. We're going to continue more with Cory right after you check this out. Have you ever wondered if your investments are making enough money for retirement? What if you could buy an investment rental property for as little as $35,000 that rents for at least $550 a month? After Aaron and Drew Hudson asked themselves this question, Hudson Real Estate Investments was formed, and now 200 transactions have been conducted. Their system helps individuals buy and hold real estate. Their definition of a great buy and hold is a property that pays you a monthly positive cash flow from day one. Hudson Real Estate Investments has a team who find properties available for immediate purchase, vet tenants, and have qualified property management in place. So if you're looking to have freedom and live your life on your own terms, grab your phone and text the word future to 484848. Get started today. Text the word future to 484848. Secure your future now.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Listen, are you feeling like you're in a dead-end job? Are you feeling like, why am I on this planet? What am I here for? What is the point of my life? Is it just, waking up, doing my quick workout, getting my coffee, get in the car, go to work, do that for 8 hours, and then come home and then sit in front of the television, make some dinner, go to bed, get up and do it all over again? Listen, I've been there. And then I found this incredible piece of wisdom from Solomon that says, find satisfaction in your work. And so oftentimes we have people out there all over the planet who are not finding satisfaction in their work, but instead they're complaining about their work. And in fact, joining me today, Cory Nichols, who took a part of his life that was a painful part of his life and has used it actually to bring wholeness and freedom for slaves in the trafficked world. Yes, we're talking about kids who have been abused, who are now being trafficked in the sex trade. Now he is a part of an organization that's partnered along with King's Ransom Foundation, who are freeing 1,000 slaves from the sex trade. So we're digging deeper inside of his story about how in the world did you go from a landscape architect who is a nice-looking single guy who has a great job, 2008 hit, you lose it all. And isn't it also then when you realize, what am I doing with myself?
Yes. It was very confusing.
What is this really all about? Right? You did everything right. You did everything right. I went to college. I got good grades. Right? I'm a landscape architect. I bought my house. I've got nice clothes. I'm in this prestigious career. I'm doing good. My family thinks I'm doing good. Bam, crash, you lose it all.
I did. And I had people judging me, saying, "What? You must be doing something wrong in your life because why would all this stuff follow?"
Who were the judgmental ones, Cory?
The religious people. Religious people.
You must have sinned against God. That's how come you lost it all.
It was a crazy, and when you're in it, it's difficult to see. But I made a decision. I said, you know what? I don't know why I'm in this, but I'm going to choose to keep taking one step forward, trusting that God has a plan.
Right.
And so
you start a blog.
Yep.
And you feel this desire, and the desire, as you said in the first segment, started first in the 5th grade when you saw that African Americans were being badly abused just because of the color of their skin, even though all of us have been created in God's image, right? So that, like this heart of justice, you and I must be cut from the same mold. Seriously, they're just anyway. So from there, you start this blog after you lose it all, and again, like how did you go from that blog of writing about restoration and captives being set free to now being a part of such a huge movement of setting kids free from the sex
That's a great question. So I came across, while writing for this newspaper company, I came across the work of Destiny Rescue. And Destiny Rescue is an international Christian-based organization that's dedicated to rescuing and restoring children that were enslaved in sexual slavery. So I heard this man talking about risking his own life to go in and provide safety and freedom for those that were being horrifically abused. And because of what I had experienced as a young person, I knew I had to do something. If I would be a person that listened to what I did and then walked away from that to do nothing, I couldn't live with myself. And so I was like, I would love to write an article on the organization. So I went overseas to visit their work in Thailand and Cambodia. Halfway through the trip, the founder approached me after I'd interviewed him, and he said, "What would you think about writing for us? Our writer's leaving the organization.
Wow.
We need a writer." In great faith, I said no. And I came back to the United States. I was already writing, and I was getting speaking opportunities through my own story brokenness to wholeness. So I was like, how could those two fit together? In my mind, they couldn't. So I said no. Well, for 2 weeks, I couldn't sleep. Just this deep inner ticking on my heart. I want you to be a voice for these kids. Quit trying to figure your life out and just say yes. So I said yes, and I ended up moving overseas to Thailand to become their senior writer and eventually their international media director.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So you're in Thailand, and we had somebody from our staff. This is how we met you guys.
Yep.
So we had someone from our staff actually go there, spend a couple of weeks, and you guys were being vetted without knowing you were being vetted.
Of course.
Absolutely. In our very first campaign, we actually did a run for freedom, and it wasn't even the whole team at all. It was that particular woman, Alyssa, who then recruited a bunch of our clients. They all came to San Antonio. They did a race for freedom. They raised over $300,000. It was like $350,000 or something like that. Yep. That was raised. And
thank you.
Yes. And so anyway, that we actually have been involved with an organization in Thailand for 18 years.
Wow.
And that was kind of the beginning of King's Ransom, helping to free kids out of the sex trade. So let's talk about this. So here you're there in Thailand. I want to hear from you, like, what you witnessed there. Did you ever enter in a brothel? Did you ever get to see the children who have been sold by their parents into the sex trade?
I did. I actually did undercover work for our organization. And one moving story in my heart was a story story where our founder, Tony Kerwin, he's an incredible man. We were undercover in Pattaya, Thailand, considered to be the sex capital city of the world.
Wait, that's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
The sex
capital city of the world, where Western men and women from all over the world.
Did you just say men and women?
And women.
So women are coming to Thailand
to take advantage of kids as well.
Boys or girls?
Both.
I just want to know how you handled that, like seeing that person for the first time.
It was moving because of what I had went through. And so
No, I'm not talking about the child. I'm talking about the man or the woman who has flown over to...
Yeah.
And where are these people flying from?
They're okay, so Thailand, there's red light districts that are for Western people and for domestic people because the price difference is very different.
Wow. So this is like a full-on business model.
The sex industry is $1 billion industry in Thailand alone, but human trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry. 99 billion of it is specific to sexual exploitation. So 2/3 of all trafficking income comes from people that are being exploited sexually. And it is the fastest growing illegal enterprise in our world today. So people do need to know about this so that we can act and stop it. Stop it.
This is disgusting. So you're saying that there's places in Thailand that are specific for the Westerners. So everyone from Canada, U.S., Australia, Europe.
Like Japan.
Hold on while I puke. This is Dani Johnson. Check this out. We'll be right back. Do you have a closet full of clothes yet say, I have nothing to wear? Are you a mom doing her best but desperately lacking me time? Or maybe your schedule has you dressing practically instead of powerfully. What if I told you there's a system, a blueprint that can save you time, money, and turn every head in the room, as well as impact the world through fashion? Friend, you're in the fashion business whether you like it or not. You're an ambassador representing your faith, your marriage, family, and business. Style is just a skill made easy with 123 Style Me. 10 steps to style success that will expand your leadership, save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. This program will bring you peace of mind, reignite your marriage, make you more productive, respected, and instantly boost your confidence, equipping you to be bold and beautiful. Go to courses.lindapage.com. Again, that is courses.lindapage.com and make a priceless investment in yourself.
Prior to getting to Dani Johnson's First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely broke. We just filed bankruptcy. We lost our home to foreclosure and we were on food stamps. After the second day of her event, we figured out where all our money was going. We got ourselves out of debt in 3 months. We paid off $18,000 worth of debt and are completely debt-free. And now we've finally created a life of our dreams. We've made a 6-figure business and we're just doing everything that we want. So if you're thinking about coming to First Steps to Success, you've got to make it happen. Sign up right now and make sure you don't miss it.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was hopelessly lost in addiction. My relationships with people, coworkers, family, friends failed. I was struggling under the bondage of debt, and I had no clear vision or purpose for my life. After taking my first steps to success, I've been able to pay off $7,000 in debt in about 4.5 months. I have a clear vision and purpose for my life. I can honestly say that my addictions are a thing of the past. If you're interested in changing your life in whatever way, in whatever area, you need to log into DaniJohnson.com and you need to be at the next First Steps to Success.
Prior to coming to First Steps, I was miserable. I never talked to people because I thought I was shy, I thought I was boring, and I thought that I was destined to be alone forever. After coming to First Steps to Success, I broke through all of those lies. I built confidence and I used the skills that I've learned there to get myself an amazing job where I will be put quickly into a position of leadership. So if you're ready to find out who you are, why you are the way you are, and how to get new skills to dramatically change your life, you need to join me at the very next First Steps to Success. No excuses, no delays, get registered now.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Massachusetts. And before plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was buried under a sea of self-doubt, fear, and my communication skills were non-existent. Sales non-existent as well. But after attending First Steps to Success, my sales have quadrupled, my fear has been lifted, and my relationships are better than ever because I communicate better than ever. If you want your life to turn around, all your dreams start coming to fruition, you are going to be at First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging in to Dani Johnson, my husband and I were drowning in a sea of debt. I had broken relationships all around me of the ones that I cared most about, and I had started a company that was losing more money than it was making. And after plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me. So I don't know about you. Maybe you're making all the money you need to. Maybe you're doing great. Maybe your relationships are phenomenal. But if they're not, I encourage you to get to the next first steps to success.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Of all the businesses that people can start, and here we are in the Dani Johnson Show on a Money Monday, right? We're talking about money. Money comes from business. Of all the businesses that people can start, yeah. How many billions for the sex trade?
99 billion.
99, and one of the fastest growing illegal businesses in the world today?
It's the fastest growing illegal enterprise in the world today. The issue of human trafficking.
So people literally start a business, and so you spent time in Thailand with organizations that are helping to rescue these kids out.
Yes.
And you just finished telling me that men and women are coming from Australia, U.S., United States of America, Canada, Europe, to Thailand, to the western portion, right? There's a special little section for them.
Yeah, there's more because there's more. You have to spend more money there. Not the average Thai person or people that are impoverished. They can't afford.
I'm still floored. Like, this is men and women. Like, this is disgusting to me.
And Dani, what's even more incredible is women are selling these kids. Women are these brothel managers that are willing to sell these kids, and they look at them as a topping on a pizza, that they don't even think twice about selling them to multiple customers.
Tell me how they sell them.
They get income, so they pay for a child to go back with a customer to a hotel
How old is the child? How old is the child?
We are rescuing kids anywhere from 17 years old down to 4 years old.
So you're talking 4-year-old little boys, little girls. And there is someone at the front desk that, is there pictures of these kids? Is that how they sell them?
So I've been in brothels undercover where the brothel manager is pulling out Facebook and showing pictures of the girl and says, do you want that girl? And within 5 minutes, that girl would be there and available for sex. Sometimes they're like beer gardens. So it'd be like going into a bar where it looks like they're serving drinks and food to you, but they're all available for sex. And so the way they get away with it is they will pay what's called a bar fine, which is the initial transaction for sex, but then what happens away from the bar or the brothel owner can say, we had nothing to do with it because what happened away from the bar, we don't know. But they're getting another kickback when the customer gets a tip. The girl has to give that money back to the brothel owner. Many times the girl doesn't even get paid or gets paid very little of it. And so
we're talking 4-year-old to 17-year-old girls. All right, so how do we help? King's Ransom is partnered with Destiny Rescue, as well as several other organizations. And why? Because we are on a mission to bring justice to these poor children. 1,000 slaves are going to be rescued as a direct result of the efforts of what you will do. As you just heard him, where you heard Cory say, how could I hear this and do nothing? You can put purpose to money today by going to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. Right on the homepage, you'll see it says, rescue 1,000 kids from the sex trade. It's right on the homepage. Go there right now. How? What can you do? How can you sit there and do nothing? What can you do? I don't care if you give $1. Do something. Give $1, $1.50, $10, give $1,000. Give what you can. What's more important is maybe even launch a campaign inside your own neighborhood or inside of your company. Add purpose to money. Listen, you've got too much money. You complain too much about your money. You're still always worried about money. Why? Because there still isn't purpose to your money. If you decided that for the next 12 months of your life, you took $1 out of every 10 that you made and you put it towards rescuing kids from the sex trade, your business would explode. Your career would explode. You would finally be doing something of greater purpose than just paying your MasterCard, your American Express, your Discover card. You would be doing something that's so much more powerful than just making your mortgage payment. So if you set aside just $1 out of every 10 that you make and you say, okay, I'm going to do what Cory and Dani are doing. They are doing something. Listen, I've donated my entire salary and the profits of our business to taking care of issues like this, ripping those kids out of those brothels and helping them come into a life of freedom. This is happening, by the way, in the U.S. as well as in Thailand and in other places around the world. We were in Jamaica about 10 years ago, and we love to interview the cab drivers and the workers inside of different hotels and restaurants and stuff like that. We like to get the word on the street. And this is when we heard that there was a hotel right there in Jamaica that was called Hedonism. And this particular hotel had 8-year-old little boys brought in to have sex with people, with adults. And that this is the main purpose of what this hotel was actually for. And that was my first time ever even hearing little boys. Sick and disgusting. And that, yes, it was men and women from all over the world that come to just take advantage of little kids. And so you can't just sit by and do nothing any longer. So here is a man who spent time on the ground undercover rescuing little boys and little girls straight out of these brothels. You can help right now. And if you want to help kids that are right here in the U.S., because kids in the U.S. are being forced in the same exact way, they're being abducted from the playgrounds. Somebody is, in fact, it could be someone in your neighborhood that has actually taken a child and is having them perform these sexual acts and putting them out on the streets, is their slave driver. This is not how a child is supposed to live. So King's Ransom, along with Destiny Rescue, together are working together to be able to free 1,000 kids from the sex trade. And you just told me that you guys just did a raid.
We just did a raid. It's our largest raid to date. I can't tell you the country and all the details, but we rescued over 50 victims. And we had many pimps and traffickers and pedophiles arrested and put behind bars. And we've shut down that entire operation. And that is the result of faithful people that will link arms with us to end this horrific injustice from our earth.
So go to kingsransom.org and add purpose to money. Share this video. Share today's show, actually, with everybody you know. Come on, we live in a world of a bunch of people complaining about what they don't have, totally dissatisfied with their life, miserable in every way. The number one drug prescribed in America is antidepressants. And you sit there and go, why? Why? Now, listen, I used to be a depressed person, and it was because I had no purpose to what I was doing. And so if you need purpose, let this be it. Just as Cory allowed his life to be used for something like this, I allowed my life to be used for this. You can allow your life to be used also, as well as your children's lives. Let them discover the power of using their gifting, of their mouth, their resources, their ability to make money, their ability to talk, to bring light to situations like this. Again, go to kingsransom.org. That's kingsransom.org. Rescue 1,000 slaves. Do it today. Cory, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to have you back.
It's an honor to be here.
God bless you.
God bless.
We'll continue and talk to you soon. God bless. Have a great rest of the day. Are you confident that you're always getting a good deal? Have you been equipped with the negotiation confidence, strategies, tactics, and supporting tools you need to close world-class deals? Finally, JPA is making the exact same specialized negotiation training and secrets used by the world's largest, most successful corporations available to everyone. Proven in more than 60 countries and used by brands like Adidas, Vodafone, Pfizer, Nokia, and others, the JPA negotiation method will set you up to save money and time while significantly increasing your profits. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling real estate, closing contracts with suppliers, or selling products and services to individuals or organizations. Using their simple step-by-step negotiation preparation checklist, you'll be ready to confidently slug it out toe-to-toe with the toughest professional negotiators. It's time for you to stop leaving money and opportunity on the table. Go to bizneg.com/events to register now. Again, that's bizneg.com/events. Get registered today.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.